Somewhere in the ocean right now, a dolphin is calling out another dolphin's name. Not barking, not howling, not making some generic animal noise into the void, calling a specific individual by a specific sound that belongs to that individual and no one else. On purpose, because it knows who it is looking for. Welcome to one of the most extraordinary things in the entire animal kingdom. Every bottlenose dolphin has a signature whistle. Within the first few months of life, dolphins invent their own specific identity calls. Not from a template, not copied from their mother, invented. A dolphin baby, barely old enough to navigate open water, composes an original piece of audio that will represent it for the rest of its life. The closest human equivalent is being born and immediately writing your own name, except you have to make sure it sounds nothing like the names of anyone around you because you are creating it from scratch in a vast, dark ocean where confusion could get you killed. Bottlenose dolphins' signature whistles are one of the most complex forms of animal communication ever studied. Each whistle has a unique frequency pattern, a specific shape of sound, a particular contour of pitch rising and falling, and dolphins are the most individually distinctive communicators of any species measured, more distinctive than birds, more distinctive than any other animal researchers have quantified. The audio fingerprint of a dolphin's name is more unique than a human fingerprint, and they keep it. A dolphin's signature whistle usually fully develops within the first year of life, rarely changing throughout adulthood. The name you invent as a baby is the name you carry forever. No rebrands, no nicknames that stick and replace the original. The same whistle, stable for decades, recognizable to everyone who knows you. So dolphins have names. That is already remarkable. But here is where it gets genuinely extraordinary. They use each other's names. When a dolphin wants to make contact with a specific individual, to locate them, to greet them, to call them over, it does not broadcast its own whistle and hope the right dolphin notices. It copies the other dolphin's whistle and plays it back. Bottlenose dolphins repeat another dolphin's signature whistle back in order to address that particular dolphin individually. You hear a dolphin whistle your name underwater and you know someone is specifically looking for you. Not the group, you. Humans and dolphins are the only known species to use vocal copying in cooperative contexts. Read that again. Of all the animals on Earth, two use each other's learned sounds to address each other directly. One of them builds cities, the other one cannot even smell. Both of them figured out names. Scientists discovered these name-like whistles almost 50 years ago, and the field has been trying to catch up to what they did mean ever since. The initial question was simple enough. Okay, they have unique whistles, and they copy them. But does the dolphin hearing its name actually picture the other dolphin, or does it just recognize the sound as familiar without any mental representation attached to it? That distinction matters enormously. The difference between recognizing a sound and mentally representing the individual behind the sound is essentially the difference between a dog recognizing the sound of the treat bag and a person hearing the name of a friend and immediately picturing their face. To find out, researchers had to get creative, and they had to work with urine. Here is the experiment, and it is both brilliant and extremely funny. Researchers studying spinner dolphins in Hawaii had noticed that dolphins were occasionally swimming through each other's urine with their mouths open. This is admittedly not what most people imagine when they picture dolphin intelligence, but it turned out to be crucial. Dolphins cannot smell. They have no olfactory system, but they can taste. And researchers discovered that dolphins spent more than twice the amount of time with their mouths open tasting familiar urine compared to unfamiliar urine. They can identify individuals by taste. The ocean is full of urine. Every dolphin in a pod is, in a sense, continuously reading a social directory. With this established, researchers designed a cross-modal experiment. They played the signature whistle of a dolphin through an underwater speaker, and at the same moment introduced a urine sample into the water. Sometimes the whistle and the urine were from the same dolphin. Sometimes they were from different dolphins. When the urine and whistle matched, dolphins spent about 30 seconds investigating the speaker. When there was a mismatch, they only stuck around for about 20 seconds. The dolphins knew when the name matched the individual. They have a mental representation. When they hear a signature whistle, they picture who it belongs to. Just as you can hear a name and imagine a face with all the associated memories, dolphins can hear a signature whistle and match the urine cue. This is the first time this type of representational naming has been found in any other animal aside from humans. And the memory behind it is almost absurd. Dolphins can remember other dolphins after 20 or more years without contact by remembering their whistles. 20 years. You could spend your entire childhood with a dolphin, go your separate ways when you are both young adults, and 2 decades later, with no contact in between, hear their whistle and remember exactly who they are. For context, that is longer than most humans maintain active memories of childhood acquaintances they liked. This long-term memory also has strategic consequences. Male dolphins use learned names to summon their closest allies, sometimes more than a dozen animals, when it comes time to cooperate in competition for females. When a coalition of male dolphins hears the whistle of a reliable alliance member, they respond immediately and directly. Research found that in 90% of experiments, dolphins who heard whistles of second-order alliance members turned immediately and directly toward the speaker. These are not just names for identification, they are operational tools for social coordination. Who you can call by name determines who will show up when things get complicated. The question underneath all of this is the one that researchers keep circling. Why? Of all the things evolution could have produced in an oceanic mammal, why names? The answer is probably the complexity of the social world dolphins live in. Animals with fluid, complex social dynamics have a greater need to remember many social partners over unpredictable lengths of time. A dolphin pod is not a stable, fixed group with a clear hierarchy you can memorize once and never update. Dolphins live in what biologists call a fission-fusion society. The group splits and reforms constantly, individuals coming and going, alliances shifting, relationships developing over years and decades. In that kind of social environment, the ability to call a specific individual across open water in the dark is not a luxury, it is infrastructure. Names are how dolphins maintain a society that is, by any measure, astonishingly complicated for an animal without hands, fire, or the internet. The last thing worth noting is this. Signature whistles are the closest analog to human names that have been found in any non-human animal. Not similar, not a rough equivalent, the closest. Which means the next time you are at the beach and you hear dolphins clicking and whistling out in the water, the odds are reasonable that at least one of them is calling another. One by name, and somewhere out there, the right dolphin hears it and knows. And subscribe because the natural world has a lot more of this waiting for you.